The 1994 Castrol International Rally, the third event of the National Championship calendar, arrived with the first two rallies having passed almost unnoticed. South Africa had only days before celebrated the inauguration of a new president, the leader of a new government. And the atmosphere at South Africa's premier international motorsport event was obviously elevated by the festivities of the past few weeks. Back to defend his local win from last year is Jan Habich, this year with Douglas Judd next to him navigating. His approach for 1994.
I think our approach in this rally would be to have a fairly good pace, have no problems at all, because in my opinion, if you have no problems, then you're going to have a fairly good finishing position.
Now, last year the overseas drivers came in first ahead of you. Do they pose any threat this year, do you think?
I don't think so. We'll just have to see how the one Audi goes. That's an unknown factor for now.
Last year, the Audi Sport Euro team of Aldo Riva and Enrico Riveda brought the Audi Coupe S2 home first. For 94, the Audi team consists of two Austrians, Raphael Sperrer and Ernest Leudel.
Morning, Leudel.
Hello.
Welcome to South Africa.
Thank you.
How are you feeling? You've never driven in the Castrol and you've actually...
Oh, yeah, we did it 2 years ago.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we did it. We finished not so bad. We had a little accident. It was too fast in a corner and lost a lot of time 2 years ago, and I hope it will get better this year. Well, we don't know the routes, so that's maybe a little advance for the South African drivers. We will see how it runs. It's important to come to the finish. It's a long rally.
The clock steadily counts down the seconds towards the 10 a.m. start on Friday the 13th. Ever popular with the young autograph hunters, Zambia's Satwant Singh. Satwant currently leads the All-African Rally Championship and will have the local lad Richard Leek navigating for him. The crews ready themselves for the 23rd Castrol International Rally. The mayor of Ermelo sends Satwant and Richard off the ramp and into the first of 5 stages before the cars cross the Swaziland border. Stage 1 takes the cars on a 10-kilometer sprint through the streets of downtown Ermelo. Seeded second by international regulations, the Austrians depart the ramp and get right down to business, clocking the 5th fastest time with 6 minutes and 52 seconds. Third on the road, and for many the favourite of the local drivers, the current South African rally champions, Serge Damso and Vito Bonafide. Next off the ramp, the privateer team of Jan Habich and Douglas Judd. This crew currently lead the 1994 South African Championship, and a result similar to what was achieved last year would make them hard to catch on the national standings. Habich's aggressive start causes the crew to miss 2 instructions through the islands.
Swap again. And swap. And swap tight.
Split-second reflexes are needed to keep the car under control as Jan pushes his Golf Synchro to the limits.
Right. 300, turn off right. 200, turn off right.
The crew average 87 kilometers an hour through the stage, only managing a 4th fastest time of 6 minutes and 45 seconds. Many rally fundies feel the South African crew start too fast and put their Class A rally cars under too much stress too early on in the events. Enzo Kuhn may be a good example. Choosing to drive on the route schedule and not the supplied pace notes, Enzo and Guy Hodgson equal fastest time of 6 minutes 40 seconds, set by Hannes Grobler and Martin Buerter. 66 kilometers of open section transports the rally crews to stage 2 and 11.8 kilometer section through the private forests around the Pan-Built area. Our car cam is in with Hannes and Martin on the stage. Jan Habich losing a few seconds with his wild, aggressive driving. Hannes has settled down to a steady but fast pace, finishing the stage just 4 seconds slower than Serge and Vito, who win the stage with an average speed of 95.8 kilometers an hour. While Hannes seems happy with his efforts, the Austrians, in their Audi S2, are already 1 minute off the pace after only 2 stages. Halfway through stage 3, and the local crews hit problems. Serge Damso has stopped with engine failure, and literally at our camera position, Jan Habig's Volkswagen expires. The Sentra of Hannes Grobler blasts past the stranded Golf, the Nissan team now able to cross 2 of the local competition off their list of potential worries. Next into the stage, Enzo Kuhn and Guy Hodgson, their Ford Laser in obvious distress. A dropped valve in the Cosworth motor, putting the Ford team out of contention. Nuno de Cunha, in the second of the privately entered Sentras, smells blood, having passed Serge and now with the Golf parked and going nowhere. 8th into the stage from Zimbabwe, Abe Smith and Les Wild in their turbocharged Audi 90 Quattro, looking steady and sounding strong. The factory Toyota blasts past, sounding and looking good, albeit some 22 minutes late.
Well, we were about 2 k's into the stage and the car just cut out. And Serge then got out and we checked everything and we couldn't find what the problem was. Eventually, Serge found what the problem was, and then I went out about 1 kilometer out the stage, stopped the first car. It was a service van arrived there, fortunately, and got a spare. And we went back into the stage and Serge fixed it.
But now you must have lost around 22 minutes in the stage. That's put you quite far back, hasn't it?
22 minutes is a long time. Fortunately, it's right at the beginning of the rally. One never knows what's going to happen from now on in. Obviously, we will now try and make sure we finish. And we'll see what happens over the next 2 days.
Even in a 3-day event like the Castrol Rally, 22 minutes is an almost impossible penalty to overcome. The Toyota crew are now last on the scoreboard in 40th place and only just survived being time barred. In stage 4, Satwant Singh moved up to 3rd place on the score sheet when the Audi of Rafael Sperrer stopped in the stage, losing the Austrian crew 5.5 minutes. All these retirements promoted Roloff Kurzer and Franz Boshoff, who suddenly found themselves in 4th place after having started 17th off the ramp. Leon Buerter and Brady Dabner were already locked in a Class B battle, with both crews on the same minute and just separated by seconds. After their problems on stage 3, Serge and Vito went on to win stages 4 and 5, which by the Amsterdam regroup had moved them up to 20th place overall. Hannes Grobler now leads his teammate Nuno de Cunha by 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Singh and Leek were 31 seconds behind the second Nissan, while the Sapphire lay 28 seconds behind Singh. From Amsterdam, the crews crossed into Swaziland via the Nurston border post to start 7 Usutu forest stages, 6 of which would be run in the dark. In stage 6, Hannes' luck stumbled for a moment when the Sentra's power steering system blew a hydraulic pipe. Hannes finished the stage with a second fastest time behind Serge, despite being 26 seconds slower than the Toyota. The repairs to the Sentra forced the Nissan crew to take extra servicing time and a 1-minute penalty in the process. De Cunha and Rouliard were having problems of their own, a sticking throttle cable forcing Nuno to slow his pace. Grobler's long service time after stage 6 had given Satwant Singh and Richard Leek the advantage of running ahead of the field. Behind them, the dust hanging thick in the still evening air. De Cunha's throttle problems were costing the Nissan crew valuable time. On stage 8, they lost 2 minutes to Serge, who had now set the fastest time on all the stages since the regroup. Behind their teammates, and now third on the road, Hannes and Martin had settled back into a steady pace. Because of the dust, Martin had switched to the pace notes for the night stages in an effort to pull back the time they'd lost in penalties.
Turn sharp left, and turn sharp right.
Abe Smith and Les Weil damaged a front strut in stage 8, forcing a lengthy repair for the service crew. The Audi team win back their lost time by taking stage 9. On stage 9, Sperrer and Lloydel got lost, creating a heated atmosphere in the Audi, despite the cold evening air outside. Serge Damso's Toyota picked up gearbox problems in stage 9, and the service crew, working against time, were forced to make a decision. The gear cluster was removed, inspected, and found to be in order. A missing tooth on the step-down gear was discovered. The gearbox was replaced, and the car sent into stage 10. Using pace notes has its disadvantages. Concentrating on the continuous instructions at night can cause nausea, as Martin Botha found out. One stage later, and the Toyota technicians climb to the task of replacing the faulty gear. 40 minutes of service time is used, and by the time the repairs are done, Serge has only seconds to spare before being time-barred. The Toyota rejoins the rally, but finishes day 1 back down in 23rd position. Hannes and Martin enter Saturday stages with a 7.5-minute lead on the Toyota Celica of Singh and Leek. Chart van der Walt and Cindy Harding are currently 4th overall and lead Class C.
We're very happy. We're still in the lead. We had our own problems last night. We lost a lot of time, but we're still in the lead. The other guys also had problems and they're still behind us, so we're very happy at the moment.
From the Ezelweni Valley, the cars move on a long, open section to the sugarcane fields of northeastern Swaziland. At the top of the scoreboard, Chart van der Walt and Cindy Harding are keeping good company.
We had a good run up to now. We haven't used any lightness, but the car is taking a little bit of hammering because the roads are fairly rough for the smaller cars. And but I'm convinced the car still feels strong. I've tried to keep it together so far, so I think if we can stay on the road, we have a good chance. I mean, at this point in time, one must try to go at a steady pace, but not too slow. Otherwise, you lose concentration. And I think we must just do that.
Tony Ball and Brian Duncan lead Class B almost unchallenged since the retirement of Leon Botha and Brady Dabner the night before. Working hard in the sugarcane fields, Alan Mitrovic and Mike Burrows have steadily worked their way up to a very creditable 7th place overall. Rudolf Kurzer and Franz Boshoff entered the canefield stages in 3rd place overall. While Rudolf may lack experience as a driver, his navigator Franz Boshoff has 9 championship caps to his name.
Keep right there.
By driving steadily and keeping the Ford on the road, Rudolf is able to keep his place ahead of a charging Nuno de Cunha and Paul Rouillard.
Good boy. 1K, ignore road to left, straight.
Behind the Ford crew, de Cunha fights back, taking 2nd fastest time on stage 13. On stage 14, both Nissans clock a time of 11 minutes and 26 seconds. A 1st and 2nd overall for this privately entered Nissan outfit would be a dream come true. Abe Smith dropped time on stages 11 and 12. The heavy Audi 90 seems sluggish through the tight cane fields, and the team are unable to gain through these stages. The locals, however, enjoy their style of driving. Down in 17th position, Mark Johnson and Francois Pretorius were unable to hold off the attack of Kobus Grobler and Mike Gillum. This despite a 5-minute lead at the start of the 2nd day. The Uno is visibly faster through the cane stages, and Kobus, who is the brother of Hannes Grobler, shows good style on these tricky roads.